Alright guys, Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates here, coming to you with what I believe is Flosstube 38, maybe 39, I don't know, I have to check and see, I can't keep track, and I certainly don't do math, so we're not going to do that. Coming to you from a different location, we are in my loft. Still have some work to do up here. I don't know if this is echoing a lot. It'll be interesting to hear what it sounds like on the playback. It sounds like it's echoing to me, but that's kind of the nature of the beast up here. Yeah, so Jan Hicks Creates. Welcome if you are new to my channel. Today is going to be a WIP parade, so it's going to be a little bit different from what I usually do. I'm going to show you all of my cross-stitch works in progress, most of which I'm not really currently working on, which is okay, as well as my knitting WIP. I have a ton of other knitting WIPs as well, but I did a video of those before I left Maryland, so you can search that out if you're interested in seeing my knitting WIPs. So yeah, I have that to show you, progress on a couple of my BAPs that I did this past week, a little tiny bit of haul, and some other news. Let's see. So first of all, I want to thank those of you who are returning as well. I love you guys. Steph and Pam say that they have people that have the best commenters. Well, we must have the same crew on my channel as well, because I love your comments. I'm not caught up yet. I don't know that I'll ever get caught up. I don't think I responded to any yesterday. The night before I was a day behind. My goal is to get caught up, so I will, guys. I will. Always, you can always count on some kind of response from me, I promise. But yeah, I appreciate all of the responses I got on how you guys sort your floss. Very helpful. Even those of you that bobbinate gave me some ideas of how I could manage my floss that I need for my current WIPs as opposed to the floss that's just in my master storage system. And when I'm doing my walk around of the video of the apartment, once we get it finally all set up, I will show you. I've shown that on an older video, but I'll show you my storage system and some changes I've made. So yeah, I've gone ahead and revamped my WIP storage system, so I'll be showing you that in a minute. Other than that, yeah, just an awful lot of WIPs. I hope you have something good to drink, something good to stitch on, because we're going to be here a while. Like I said, just a couple of little things of haul, one of which is the yellow silk from my Luz Gonzalez sampler. It was back ordered, even though there was no note about this. It came in the mail last week. I think probably right after I recorded the video, I got it in the mail. So I did use the substitute yellow silk that I had gotten from Tamara, this Nana Stitches. I am undecided whether I will continue with that or use this one. I'm probably not going to rip out what I've done, because why rip out if you don't have to? What I'm going to do is compare the colors of this to what I've already done and see how close they are, and see if I can get away with just using this one from here on out. The only other little bit of haul that I got was this is so it's from Plum Street Samplers. It's called A Country Winter. And this is the last entry, I don't know what the word is, for the Country Samplers Farmhouse series of charts. If you remember Philip's Farmhouse, that was the first one from Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery. The second one was from Tanya, the Scarlet House. Don't remember the name of that one. The third one was from Kathy Barrick, and I really didn't care for that one, so I sold it almost immediately. And this is the fourth one, and is that gorgeous or what? I mean, it has sheep, it has a snowman, it has a deer. I love, love, love this floral treatment on the barn and the white barn. This is just gorgeous. So haul, but not really haul, because this is a subscription that I signed up for a year ago, and this is the last one. It is a complete kit. Don't know when I'm going to start it, but it's probably not going to wait too long because it's so darn pretty. So that's all the haul. I found it interesting. I got a couple interesting comments about haul and how it's not necessarily something that some people enjoy. I think some people really do enjoy seeing all the things, and other people feel a little intimidated or a little jealous, maybe. I don't use that in a derogatory sense, but in a sense that, gee, wouldn't it be nice to be able to get all those things? Not all of us are in the position that we can afford that. I'm certainly in a position at this point where I need to cut back because Hawaii is more expensive. I don't know whether I mentioned to you guys. I know I told Mike. I don't think I mentioned to you guys. The Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts Sampler Threads floss at the store here, pretty much every other store that I've seen it on the mainland, it's $2.50 a skein. Here it was $4 a skein. So that is quite a markup. And I'm sure it has to do with the shipping to get it out here. So taking into consideration just that little fact, let alone everything else is more expensive, I'm definitely need to cut back myself, not just because I have so much. I kind of went crazy last year, but also because I need to cut back. I need to contribute to the welfare of this family, basically, by not spending so much on my stitching stuff. So, having said that, I hope that those of you that do enjoy seeing a lot of haul understand and, you know, are patient with me. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to get anything. Like I said, March is coming. It is my birthday. I already have a list. StitchCon is coming. Keepsakes. I don't have a list for that yet, but there will be some money spent there. So it's not like I'm not ever going to get anything through the whole year, but I am reining it back drastically. So with that, my floss storage system. So one of the things that the people mentioned is keeping, several different people, whether you bobbinate or keep your floss on rings in bags. You mentioned that you don't have, somebody else mentioned that I have a way with words. Today my words are gone. Let me try again. You don't keep all of your floss kitted up in a bunch of different WIPs, that you have it all together and then pull from that. And that really struck a chord with me, and I think that's kind of what I mentioned last week. Well, my original thought was to keep it all together in my master storage, and there's just no way to do that with the way I store my floss. So there were several people that mentioned different ways they did that got my little wheels turning. And so what I've come up with, and what I spent yesterday morning doing, was not congealing. Congealing isn't a good word. Conglomerating. Pulling out of all of my different bags, all of my DMC floss. And I'm only doing this for projects that use DMC. For the ones that use Gentle Arts, Weeks, whatever my other ones are, I don't have the same kind of duplication problem that I seem to have with this. So I'm leaving those as is. But, so I've pulled them all. So I have a ring. Let me grab the rings. A ring for the up to 500s, a ring for the 600 to 900s, and then all the rest. I haven't really worked with it yet. What I worked on yesterday was the Modern Folk Embroidery Four Seasons Quaker, and all that has its fancy floss in it, so I don't need I didn't need to mess with this. Now I'm looking for, as I was putting all this together, I came across several different old ways. You know, this is like the fifth rendition of how to organize my floss. Shoot, now I'm not going to be able to find it. I'll wait here. So I've revamped multiple times over the years, just like I've reinvented myself multiple times over the years. That's going to fall. So, oh, I found 890. Yay! Now 890, it actually only has a partial skein in it, so I probably will need a new one of those fairly soon. So, in the past I did bobbinate, and I wanted to show you, I don't know if anybody else had done this. Let me see if I can get these out. So back when I was stitching before, so we're talking in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, the Floss Away, whoever made the Floss Away bags, had, I think it was the same company, had come out with the decorative what's basically a decorative photo box these days. But what they did was they sold these plastic hanger things. It was like a strip of plastic with what was essentially just like you have the tabs on a hanging folder, it was that kind of thing, only it was a plastic strip that had a sticky side that you attached to your Floss Away bags, and then the photo boxes had little rods that you could hang your floss bags on, and that's what I used to use. So I did have Floss Away bags at one point. Prior to that, I did bobbinate. Prior to that, I had these adorable little bobbins, and I had all of my floss on all these adorable little bobbins with the little, and you put the little sticker on. Isn't that just so cute? And then you had the little holes to hang the extra floss on. These are almost all gone. I've used up and thrown away pretty much all of the floss I had that these were on. But I still have a couple hanging around and a couple bobbins. There's bobbins scattered through. Not getting back into that. Not. Okay, so that's my floss. So I do have it in, I just have it in a bag. And this sits in that Longaberger basket, that magazine basket that is next to the couch in the stitchy spot that I showed you the last video. It's just sitting in that basket. So I'm hoping, excuse me, let me pick this up so I don't roll the chair over it. I'm hoping that that will work out. We shall see. Only time will tell. Okay, one thing I wanted to mention, I am up in the loft. I only have the natural light coming in from the big windows down in the main space. I think it's enough. It seems pretty bright. I'm having a hot flash, so forgive me if I look sweaty. I don't have any other light. All right, that was a first. My video just cut out. I don't know what happened there. Hopefully it's not that my storage is running out, which is a good possibility. This iPad hasn't been backed up in weeks because I still don't have my computer up. I've got to get this set up today. But hopefully we can continue. It seems to be okay. I don't know. But anyways, the light may change a bit as the sun goes behind and out from behind clouds. So hopefully it'll work okay. This will be my main recording spot from here on out, so hopefully it's going to work. All right, so WIPs. I am going to start with the ones that I've been working on. So I'm going to show you the ones that I've done some work on in the past week since my last video. And then I'll go through the BAPs that you guys have pretty much, if you've been watching my recent videos, you've seen these. These are the ones I've showed you that are going to be for my year of BAPs, but I'll go through them just in case there's somebody here who hasn't seen them yet, and just to have everything recorded. I do have for my digital patterns, oh, I know what I forgot to mention. Hold the boat. For those of you who are not on Instagram and don't follow me on Facebook, on my Facebook page, Jan Hicks Creates, not my personal, Jan Hicks Creates. So whenever I post something on Instagram, it automatically gets posted on Jan Hicks Creates as well. So there's a duplication there. But on Sunday, I went to the framing store and I took Harbor Haven with me, and it found a frame. Now, sorry, I just posted on Instagram, so there's a lot of notifications. So there's the frame I picked out. It's kind of a coppery metallic. It's hard to tell in the photo, but it really is pulling out the browns and the golds coming through here. I should turn off my notifications because that's rather annoying. I'm going to have it framed so that 2 inches of the fabric is showing all around so that you can really see that gorgeous fabric as well. The framer said she should get it done in about a week, 5 to 7 days. So hopefully by my video next week, I will have Harbor Haven back. I can't wait. I don't know where I'm going to hang it yet. I don't really have a good feel of what the finished size is framed. She might have said the dimensions. I don't remember. So anyway, after that, we went on a hike that wasn't far, a trail that wasn't far from the framing store. So the framing store is on the windward side of the island, the east coast, just a little north of Kaneohe. So we found a trail that went up a ridge and overlooked at the top Kaneohe Bay. That's the pictures that you've seen at the beginning of this video. The hike was moderate. We thought we could handle moderate. We were slightly wrong. There were some pretty steep climbs. There were some places where there was rope that we had to pull ourselves up. Going up wasn't nearly as bad. We almost gave up. We were right near the top and we didn't know how far. Luckily, another family was coming back down and they said how close we were, so encouraged us to keep going. So we did. Cat hair floating through the air. Coming down was worse. Coming down really kills my knees. I've got to get to a doctor and figure out what I can do because I don't want to stop. We need to go on easier trails to begin with, but I don't want to stop hiking. There's so many great trails here, but coming down, the pounding, after a while, I had to turn around and hold on to Mike and walk backwards, which wasn't easy because some of these, like I said, some of the sections were pretty steep. They were not totally muddy, but a little bit slippery. Luckily, it hadn't rained in a few days, so it wasn't too bad as far as slippery is concerned. But it was a challenge towards the end, with especially my left knee. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed those pictures. It was an amazing view. Yeah, I mean, every view is amazing, right? Everywhere you go, it's just amazing. One more note. Everything that's hanging here, whenever I do the walkthrough video, I'll tell you what everything is. Some of it you'll recognize, some of it I'm sure you don't. But I'll step through all of that whenever it's time. And I do still have some things I have to hang up, but they don't have the back hangers on, the sawtooth hangers on yet, so I have to get those pounded in and then hung up. All right, now I think we're ready. So first, the ones that I've actually made progress on. And the first of those is a Modern Folk Embroidery 4 Seasons Quaker. So this is the one that was the stitch along, the mystery stitch along for 2018. This is the one that I had started the wrong way on the fabric. And so when I had to start again, I changed the colors a bit. And I think I mentioned in my last video, but if not, what I plan on doing is keeping keeping the basic color scheme the same, but changing the intensity of the colors with each season. So winter is kind of paler and colder. Spring is going to be pastel still, but brighter. Summer will be intense, the same colors, but bright and happy and sunny. And then I'll take the same colors in autumn and change them to jewel tones. So that's my plan. I don't have colors picked out for the different seasons. I'll just, when I get there, I'll just be changing them. So for those of you who may not have ever seen this design, that's what the completed piece will look at. So I am working this up here. And whenever it came out as it was a stitch along for the whole year, so a different part of the pattern each month. January was just up here. I put all this together, the whole pattern together in Knit Companion. All the pages are together. So I'm going to work each season before I move on to the next season, so I can have the palette all figured out and then coherent. So that is that one. I've pretty much gotten, I think what I'm going to be doing, the flow that I'm going to be doing through the year, a couple days on each pattern. As I mentioned before, an hour on my smaller project, an hour on my knitting. I don't get to those hours every single day, but that is my goal. And then 2 days on my big project. And I'm kind of getting to the point where, okay, by the time the second day is done, I'm ready to move on. You know, it's time. Something else is calling my name. I am using the Tiny Decisions app to help me choose. Oh, and another app I wanted to mention that I found, a journaling app called Day One. I decided I was going to need help on week to week, keeping track, remembering what did I work on last week, so that when it comes time to do these videos, I know what to show you, because my brain isn't that good. I don't remember what I worked on. So what it does is it allows me to put in a note and pictures of everything I've worked on each day. So it's keeping a journal, right, of my progress. And so this is what I've done. Day one, went to the framer, did a hike. Didn't get any stitching done on Sunday because we went to bed at 7:30. I was exhausted. I mean, we ate dinner. I was sitting there. I couldn't even imagine picking up knitting needles, let alone a stitching needle. I was playing a game on the iPad and I was like, I'm done. Went to bed at 7. Mike woke up at, I think, 4 and got ready and went into work, and I didn't get up until 6:30. I was exhausted. So anyways, Day One app. It's going to help me keep track. So that was the Modern Folk Embroidery Mystery Stitch Along. This is the Linen and Threads Mystery Stitch Along from 2017. And so this band is the one I was working on. I was able to get that finished, and it was 2 or 2.5 days. It wasn't too much. Got a little bit of start. This is the B band. A little bit of a start on that. And I picked out which other bands I'm going to do. I haven't picked out the colors for them yet. Let's see. Oh shoot, I didn't save off that full picture. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of you have seen that. I'm only going to be doing, so I'm going to do the B band. And then once the B band is done, I'll do a couple more, I think I'll do, I don't remember, a couple more skinnier. There's a couple more skinnier bands. Maybe there's a carnation band. I might do that one. I haven't decided yet. And then the big band on the bottom. The colors this is actually kind of a cheated scheme, not one I really came up with. Many, 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 many moons ago, I had gotten a quilt top coverlet. I'm not sure what the correct term is. Probably from Hirschner's, a kit to make a blanket, a cover for the bed. I never did. I got rid of because it was stamped, I think. I got rid of the everything in the kit except the floss. It was all DMC floss, full skeins, multiple skeins. So that's what I'm using for this. So it's not a color scheme I came up with as far as all of the different colors together, but I am choosing each band as I go what colors I'm going to use. And the bees, I'm actually going to use this gold and this deep purple here for the bees. So that is that one. Shoot, there was a third big one that I worked on. See, I told you I can't remember. Let me show you this one first. What was the third big one I worked on? Oh, that one. Okay. First, Home for Christmas, the Plum Street Sampler. This was the Dying to Stitch exclusive kit that I got from Stash Unloading. Got a little bit more progress done on that. Got quite a bit of the house. The bricks in the house done, basically. Got a good start on the windows. Got part of the roof done. I actually haven't gotten an hour in on this in a couple of days, not at all over the weekend, so I'm hoping to spend some time on this today. And guys, let me know what you think of the lighting up here. I'm really interested to know. I did kind of a test video, and it looked okay to me, but please let me know, and let me know which device you're using too, as to how it looks for you, if the lighting's good enough. The other one that I got some progress in was the Jacobean Tree. Creative Needle Arts. This is sold as a kit. I bought it as just the chart. The kit included the Finca cotton floss. I switched out for DMC. There are a lot of people looking for this now, and I'm not sure the success they're having in finding it. But I have a feeling as more and more people request it, it's going to come back out into print. Or not that it's out of print, but it'll come back into the stores. So that's what I've done on that. Most of that little hillock on the bottom. This one, this fabric count, it's a 35 count raw linen. This is one of the fabrics I got from my friend CJ. It's a great fabric to stitch on. This count is like my sweet spot. 35, 36. I don't have to struggle hard to see it. I'm loving the colors on this. I think this is just going to be so cool. I mean, I like it on the white, but I love it on this. So that is the ones I got progress on this week. Now, here on out, first I'll show you, like I said, the BAPs that are part of my rotation for the year, and then we'll move to everything else. Now, I am going to be taking the time. I usually, when I do my videos, I take everything out of all their bags and have them all stacked up so I don't have to be messing, and then I put them all away. That would be madness if I did it that way. So I'm going to be taking them out of and putting them back into the bags as I go. I have unzipped all the bags, so hopefully that will help. But I couldn't take them all out. Except that one just slid out. Excuse me. My Grace Quaker sampler is trying to get away. Okay. Get the floss so it doesn't fall on the floor. That happens to me all the time. Boy, does that color look good up here. All right, this lighting is good. It's a little bit richer than that. It kind of faded out. Quaker Sampler by Sampler Cove. Doing this as a stitch along with Lynette Peters, One Lap One on Instagram. And guys, if you aren't following Lynette, one LAP1 is her Instagram username. I recommend you follow her. She's a great stitcher. She does great projects, very knowledgeable, and she's just starting to really use Instagram, so she needs some followers. Don't you, Lynette? So Grace Quaker Sampler. I don't like, okay, so I pull it up and that's a truer color, and then it kind of fades as the iPad tries to color correct. There, that's pretty good. So I'm down here starting a motif down there at the bottom. Love, 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 love. The fabric is 40 count. Ash Rose by Jude Designs. You are going to see a lot of Jude Designs fabric as we go through here because I love her fabric. I love her colors. Everything is serged, just really, really well done. All right, hoity-toity. Don't want to make you wait too long for hoity-toity. Make sure I don't have any floss. It's going to go falling out. Okay. God, is that gorgeous. That color is pretty true to life right there. Long Dog Sampler, hoity-toity. For those of you who might not be familiar with it, hoity-toity. I am using a number of the called for colors and a number of not called for. The main dark color, I think Raven is what the pattern calls for, which is more of a black. I'm using one called Midnight Hour from Victorian Motto Sampler Shop, and it's more of a black blue, which looks stunning on that gold. And then I've changed more towards pinks rather than oranges and those kind of tones. And then everything else I've pretty much left the same. Hoity-toity. And this is another one that I have concatenated all of the different pages into one in Knit Companion, so I'm not necessarily doing a page at a time type of thing. All right. This one is Four Seasons. This is a soda stitch pattern. And I get along. Talk about a BAP. I mean, you want to talk about a BAP. Oh my God. Little tiny bit on this. Fold this up. This is another Jude Designs, 36 count. I believe she calls this light blue. I lost the tag for this. I have this all rolled up here. Just working a little bit on, shoot, I put this back away. Right down here on these pale trees on the end. This is one of the ones that I couldn't find some of the colors. I know I have them, but so this is one of the reasons I had to revamp my storage system for my WIPs because it just wasn't working for me. All right, next. Rosewood Manors. House Sampler. I know that I've enabled a lot of you to get this. I am using the called for Sulky Petites. I did this in one of my recent Stitch With Me's, worked on this one, and I talked about what I think about using these. So if you're interested in getting a little feedback on the Sulky Petite threads, you can check out that Stitch With Me. The fabric is 32 count Helix by Picture This Plus. The called for fabric is 28 Helix, 28 count Helix, and I decided to go for 32, just so it's a little bit smaller. And it is gorgeous. These threads are just beautiful, and on this fabric, love it, love it, love it. Losing my needle here. All right. I feel like this is actually going pretty fast, but I'm at 22 minutes in this second video. I don't remember how much I had in the first one. All right. Luz. Our darling Luz Gonzalez. So, shoot. I was hoping I would have the picture handy. I'm going to have to dig a little bit. Un momentito. Spanish. I remember just a very un poco of my Spanish. There we go. Luz Gonzalez, Spanish Colonial Sampler. Yeah, this is so gorgeous. See how that really faded out? That kind of yellowy cream is more accurate than as it fades out. So this is what I meant about this is the yellow that I've used. So not a whole lot. Let me see. This may be, yeah, it is a bit, well, I think it is going to be a bit darker, a bit richer. I don't know whether I care enough to worry about it or not, just for that little bit. So the satin stitches here at the top. Oh, there's even a nice breeze coming in. Gotta love that. That's what was just flipping the fabric. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Maybe Tiny Decisions will bring that up today. So that is actually, I think, the last of my BAPs. Oh, no, it's not. There's a whole nother bag here. Oh, silly woman, silly woman. Okay. So this one I haven't gotten on the wheel at all yet. So this is not back on its Q-snaps yet. This is the Taj Mahal mandala from Chatelaine. I did not save off a picture of this anywhere. But it is gorgeous and it's going to be huge. And my goal is to get this finished this year. This might be one I would send to Jill Rensel for framing. Anyways, Taj Mahal mandala by Chatelaine. There's so many of hers that I would love to do, but I've told myself I can't start any of hers. I can't even buy any more of hers if I don't get that one done, because that would be silly. All right, Family Garden, 16th century family knot garden by Liz Turner Deal. Oh, the fabric for Luz Gonzalez is 40 count from Victorian Motto. And the fabric for the Chatelaine, it's been so long. I don't know whether it's a 32 or a 28 count. It's been too long. This one, though, is a 32 count raw linen. Whoops, that's backwards. And if I say, maybe the wheel will choose this one today, will you think I'm funny? I want to do them all. So I'm excited to do more of the specialty stitches on that one. But I had several of you agree with me that the herringbone was enough, that it didn't need that extra whatever it was supposed to be that wasn't working for me. Tree of Dreams kit. The only full coverage that I'm doing at this point, with floss hanging around, and again just that little tiny corner. That's not right. This is the right orientation. There. Just that little tiny corner. This is 28 count even weave. 1 over 1 thread, 1 stitch, 1 strand of floss over 1 thread. That will keep it fairly small. Still a lot of stitching, but 28 count is fairly easy, if you don't mind me saying that, as far as a stitching over 1 is concerned. All right. That, I think, is all of this year's bats. The rest of these are my older WIPs, my ones that aren't in the current rotation. First, though, I'm going to show you my knitting. I did get a little progress on this. So I finished up the one shoulder. I'm going to bump my microphone here, and started on the second shoulder. Now Cat actually, I think, had in the pattern, I think I mentioned before that the front panel and the back panel are identical. And Cat actually has in the pattern, I think, that you do them both at the same time. I didn't, because when I started this, my brain couldn't have handled that. So once I finish this, I'll have to do another one exactly like it. So I probably won't really mention it that much in my videos until I'm ready to put them together and continue on, just because it's basically exactly exactly the same. So, all right. Now, un momentito. Wet the whistle. Commercial for a good jar in Sarasota. Yay. And we're just going to start plowing through. So a lot of these are Mania starts. Now I'm very happy with the finishes from Mania that I have gotten done, but I still have a lot of Mania starts left to do. First up, this wasn't a Mania start though. This was just one I got and started. This is Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread, the summer Schoolhouse series. And I think you may have seen several people that are doing this as one piece, and that is what I am doing. Kim Goldman just posted on Instagram her progress that is looking fantastic. I have saved off from Instagram somebody else's who did it in one piece, and I think there's somebody I saw that did it more as a square or a rectangle piece, but I am doing it as one piece. This is the called for mushroom Lugano, stitched over 1, and that's what I've done so far. It's a gorgeous piece. Again, I believe it's 28 count. I don't think it's 25. I think it's 28 count mushroom Lugano. Love it. But it is in hibernation. A along with so many others. All right, and I have this cool bag for it. Blue Q. This is actually a bag that I got from Laura Nelkin's retreat, Ithaca retreat. Last year, the year before, whenever it was. Oh shoot, that's the Instant Pot. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was the Instant Pot. The yogurt that Mike was making is done. That's the royal we. Mike makes yogurt in the Instant Pot. It is wonderful. If you guys have an Instant Pot, any of you that have an Instant Pot, if you like yogurt, there is a cold start, I believe it's called a cold start yogurt recipe that is perfection. It's a vanilla yogurt. It's not too sweet. It's, unless you like tart, it's not too tart. You can mix anything in that you want. It's delicious. The recipe that he makes 12 6-ounce jars of yogurt. He packs that for lunch. We mix granola in it. We mix jam in it. We mix fruit in it. It's delicious. We make a batch every week. We go through it. So anyways, that cooks for 11.5 hours in the Instant Pot, which is basically just a low, the yogurt setting is just a low, not even a boil, just a very low temperature, sit there and ferment, I guess, for 11.5 hours, and then it goes in the refrigerator for 4 hours, and then it's ready, and it's creamy, and it's so good. So anyway, back. All right, next up we have Prairie Schoolers June. And I am doing, at this point, the full pattern, and I am doing it, you're gonna see a pattern here, if you'll pardon me, over 1 on 28 count. I know, insane. I would really like to do all of them over 1. I only have this month so far, and it is the cardstock one. I eventually want to get all of them and do them all over 1. It just, I mean, look how cute this is going to be. So yeah, this was a mania start. And this is probably a 28 count linen. The open weave makes it really, really easy to do over 1. So that one. Some of these pouches now have multiple projects in them, so I have to dig a bit. This one actually has 3 projects in it. Next is Blackberry House by Plum Street. I believe the fabric for this might be pearl barley. It's a gorgeous, I think this is one of, I don't think I still have the tag. I think this is one of R&R Reproductions. Anyways, don't have hardly any start of this at all. But it's going to be pretty. I believe this color is aged pewter. Isn't that gorgeous? This dark is that. It's these are not the called for colors at all so far. I don't think I like that red. I'm probably going to end up pulling that out and find something a little bit more rosy cranberry than bright red, because this isn't going to blend with all the rest of the colors. And I do want to keep it a more muted shades. So there is that. And it's probably a 40 count by the looks of it. The called for was 40 count Old Town Blend, and that very well may be what I have here. I don't remember. And the last one in here is, looking for the cover sheet. Come on, it's Brickhouse Sampler. Oh, come on. There it is. Brickhouse Sampler. Another Mania start. And of course, because it is Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, it is another over one. Like I said, do you see a pattern here or a trend? Oh my goodness, this is tiny. I think this is the same mushroom Lugano. I don't even know if that's the right way up. I think it is. I think this is the same mushroom Lugano that the Summer Schoolhouse series is on. Somebody asked me in my last video what I used to keep the edges from fraying on some of these. This is just blue painter's tape. It's what I had at the time. Is it the best solution? Probably not. Is it the worst solution? Probably not. There's going to be a lot that gets cut off when it's framed, so I'm not really worried about it. So that is Brickhouse Sampler, Brenda Gervais, 28 count mushroom Lugano, most likely. Okay. Kind of just throwing stuff around here. Won't be too bad. Okay, this one also has 2 projects in it. The first one is History of Sheep. Such a sweet project. This is by Jardin Privé. Let's see. I wasn't able to find a picture with all of the pieces completed, so that didn't work too well. So this is, it's a 3 or 4 part series. So this is part 1, and that's what I currently have here. This is a Weeks Dye Works, I believe it's a 32 count linen, but I'm still doing 1 thread over 2 because that's what I prefer, even on 32 count. So that's part 1, and again, that looks like that. And then, let's see. Come on. This is, so let's see, part 1, part 2, part 3. Isn't that adorable? Gosh, I love that. And then part 4 is here. So that's that long, skinny part right there. And I just love the lady with the spinning wheel. And the bees, and the sheep. Oh, I gotta get back to it. So again, a 32 count. I believe this is one of the Weeks Dye Works, only because it's a more open weave. Very easy to stitch on. I'll be having a sheep wall someday, and I'll be having a deer wall someday. Someday. Next is A Moment in Chalk by Hands On Design. And let's see. I will be doing it with all of the months around it. I think the only months I own so far, though, are March and September. Yeah, there's March, and I think somebody gifted me September. I don't think I have it in here. The fabric is, again, Jude Designs. I believe this is a 36 count. Might be 40 count, actually. This was a special dye for me. Actually, no, I think she had chalkboard. I just needed a bigger piece. So that's all I have, just a little bit in the middle there. She does such a great job with her fabrics. So this is just the very beginning of the banner here. Each moment of the year has a beauty its own beauty, has its own beauty. So I don't have all the buttons either. I will be using most of the called for, well, some but not all. I am changing from more of the yellowy colors to pinks. You know, I'm not much of an orange yellow gal, so I'm changing those a bit. That's a tropical ocean. I think I'm actually using some Victorian motto for some of this. Coastal seaweed, I think. And chalk, Gentle Arts chalk is what the white is. So just a tiny, again, another Stitch Mania start. Yeah, this is Tropical Ocean, and then this darker is Coastal Seaweed by Victorian motto. This would have been another BAP, but it also would have meant that I would have needed to buy all the other charts for this. And since I'm also trying to go stitch from stash this year, I didn't want to be buying all those charts. So next is Pretty Little India from Satsuma Street. And I'm showing you these pictures because these are ones that I have digital, the digital patterns. So I don't have a copy that I can show you. So Pretty Little India from Satsuma Street. Pretty Little India, so pretty. Love the bright colors. This is just on a, probably a 36 count maybe. Just white linen, white Zweigart linen. I got a nice chunk of the middle of that done, but there's still an awful lot to do. Working up towards the Taj. That's the reflecting pond in front of the Taj. So that one. The next one is the one of the Farmhouse series from Country Stitcher, from Country Sampler. This is the one that was the Philip Foster Farmhouse that I mentioned earlier, Heartstring Samplery. This is an actual farmhouse that is by Beth. This is at the end of the Oregon Trail, so it has historical significance for the area that she lives in, with the big lilac tree out front, and I love lilacs. Another Mania start. So this was all a kit, so everything is the called for, whatever was in the kit. So another Mania start. Just got some outlines done there. The fabric, I think, is a 36 count. Something or other. Probably something from R&R Reproductions. That is the only one hiding in there. Next, Midnight Garden. Midsummer Garden. This is a design that that Judith sells on her Etsy store. Midsummer Garden. I got it as a kit. So it is her flosses as well as her fabric. Although I did ask for, I think she might have been having, I think you could choose what count of fabric that you wanted, and I believe what I got was 36 count. 36 count light mountain maybe is what this is called. Look how gorgeous that fabric is. And this is going to be a beautiful design with the purples. So it's a bit of a sampler-ish feel. Pick up that floss so I don't lose it. Oops, upside down Midsummer Garden. So I'm just working on the border, like right up in here. Look how pretty that is. I had my eye on this for months before I finally was like, if it keeps calling to me, I need to own it. Is that what you do? That's what I try and do. I find that if if I look back at something and decide, then it's a good thing that I waited. But there are some that just keep calling to me, and those I'm meant to have. All right. Oh, this one. All right, so this is, let me find the full picture. Oh, look, there's a little pair of scissors in here. This is Lizzie Kate's Unseen Mystery Sampler. This was done as a SAL with, Stephanie, Steph from Just Keep Stitching, Christine from Stitch All the Things. There were quite a few people who were doing this. Lovely, lovely piece. I have, I think some of the called for, but most of my flosses are Victorian motto, so they're subbed in. And I got a really great chunk done on the first part. I worked on this on our trip up to Canada last year, so it has my Canadian memories built into it. The problem is, at some point, as I'm getting all this done, I realized my fabric ain't going to fit this whole thing. It's just big enough for this. So I must have looked at the numbers for just part 1 and based my fabric choice on that. There's a whole lot more to it. So my plan, and I should probably go ahead and pull the fabric while I have that nice big stash down there. My plan is to do like Blackbird Designs has done in their the garden, what is it called? The one Mev Stitches in Paris is working on, the garden series, you know, all the little different garden motifs. How some of them are half pieces of fabric sewn together. That's what I've decided I'm going to do on this. I'm just going to add on what I need. And I am undecided on whether to sew them all together and stitch them after they're sewn all together, or stitch them separately and then sew them together. If any of you have those Blackbird design patterns, if you could look at me and tell me what they look at those, the ones that are sewn together, that are half pieces of fabric sewn together, if you could look at that and tell me what they do, I would appreciate it, because I'd kind of like some guidance. I'm not going to get to this year, probably. But, and I think, you know, if I sewed them together first, then I'd have that seam allowance that I have to work around, so that could be annoying. But then if I stitch it first, I'd have to be really careful of how I sewed it. Anyway, Unseen Mystery Sampler by Lizzie Kate. So it says, let's see if I can read it without my glasses. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And I'm trying not to cry. Okay, love it, love it, love it. So I want to find fabric. Of course, it has to be the same count, which isn't a big deal because I think this is 32. And I have a lot of 32, but not necessarily the same colors, similar, but different shades maybe of the beige, or even like soft green, soft pink. I don't remember what all I have down there. But anyway, similar, but not the same. So that is that one, nothing else hiding in here. This is a kit. This is a Dimensions, yeah, not a Dimensions Gold, just a Dimensions. Mike and I are big into wine. We're not connoisseurs. We really don't know much except we like what we like. I can't drink red wine because it gives me a headache, but I loved the shading on this. Of course, because it's Dimensions, there is a lot of blended threads, but they're gorgeous. Of course, I subbed out the Ada for linen. This is actually the same linen I'm doing my Linen and Threads Mystery Sampler on. I had a huge piece of it in my stash. So bits and pieces became different things. So you can see I just have a bit of the grapes done, starting on the second cluster of grapes there. This, excuse me, everything slid off my lap. Because it is blended, I believe this is a 32 count, and I am doing it 2 strands over 2. So pretty. I would love to get this done while we're here and hung up downstairs. We have a little wine bar that we're getting downstairs. Don't have it yet, just have plans for it. And we have some other like wine pictures down there too. So I think that would create a nice little collage type of thingy. Next is Grateful Hearts by the Trilogy. And this one I'm actually going to get out. Oh my God, it's almost February. I'm going to get out for Valentine's Day whenever it comes around. It's coming around. Wow, it's almost February. Anyway, the Trilogy. I don't have a whole lot more to do with this, but I do have, this is all 1/1 up here. And that's where I am for the most part. I have threads all over the place that I don't want to lose. So not a whole lot left on this to do. Some of this down here, like I said, the 1/1 I just started, and of course this is a full coverage 1/1, so it's going to take a while. And then, shoot, I didn't want to flop the floss around, and I just threw it on the ground. Hold on. I was going to show you the picture again. Duh. All right, so I have the words and that little bit up there to do, and then that. And I think I actually have some charms that I found. I don't have these exact charms, but I think I have some charms that I found that I can put on there. So I'm going to be getting this out. Let's see, what is the day? It's the 29th. So what, 30 days, have September, April, May, and November, all the rest. So we have a couple more days in January. Do you guys have to do that to know if there's how many days there are in each month? And then I'm going to get at this out. This will replace my Home for Christmas as my hour a day. So I don't know whether I'll get this done in February of this year. I hope to. I have some other little pieces by the Trilogy that are similar to this that I want to have kind of a montage. All right. Hibernation days. Somebody just showed this. Somebody else is working on this. I was enabled to do this by, it's Lisa Smith, because she's the one that enabled me. She's a lot further along. She started in the middle, and she's probably going to finish this relatively soon. I think she's up here someplace. I have quite a ways to go. I started at the top, and I am using a pewter linen. I love how this looks on the gray linen. You know, it's not the called for. The called for is the kind of coffee dyed mottled, but I think that's very rich looking. And this is, don't have a tag on it. I'm sure this is something I had in my stash for a while. This is probably a 32 count. Might be a 36. Looks like over 1. It's not over 1, it's 1 strand. So that one won't get touched again until probably the winter, if it comes out to play at all this year. Next is Spring Jack, another Plum Street. I thought he was so handsome, and still, until I started stitching with nothing but white. This is actually chalk again, I think. Oh no, maybe I substituted something else. And I decided to do it over 1 on a little piece of trying to decide which way it goes. A little piece of, I think this is Linda, a 30 count Linda over 1. And I think I did sub out, not chalk. This might be like antique lace or something from Victorian Motto. So just the tiniest, tiniest bit of the pumpkin done, like I'm right in here. It's a lot of white. I don't know when I'll get back to this. It's definitely not calling my name like it used to, like it did before I owned the pattern. Oh my God. You can tell though that I like Halloween patterns that aren't traditional Halloween, that are prettier. I'm not a big Halloween pattern person. All right, we still have quite a few to go. How are you guys doing? Do you need to get a refill? If you do, go ahead. I'll wait for you. Put me on pause. Next, Louise and Henry from Little House Needleworks. So cute. That will go on my sheep wall. Another Mania start from last year. Oops, that's the back. Isn't my back nice? This is actually a piece of linen that I dyed. I think it was just a beige, and I wanted it grungier, so I did a coffee dye of it. And I think I used some flavored coffee because it smells cinnamony or vanilla-y. It smells really yummy. So just a little bit of that done. Again, a Mania start. This will be another one of the smalls that I pick up once I get, you know, for each small that I'm working on an hour. Once I get one done, the next one comes in line, and that's one of these. So I just have this little bit down here. But you know, I think that was just one day's work. I don't think I worked on it more than that, so not bad for one day. Okay. You should see the pile. Oh God, I'm glad the cats aren't up here getting into this. This is one I took with me on the trip across the country and while we were in the Navy Lodge that I had hoped to get to, but I didn't. This is called Small House. It is from Just Cross Stitch magazine of April 2003. It is by Brown House Studio. And it's our theme, a small house can hold as much love as a large one. We don't need a lot of room. I've totally changed all the colors on this. This is I think this is a vintage pearl barley 40 count that I got at the attic. Let's see, just a little tiny start. This is the big house. So you can see I changed, totally changed from this green to a turquoise. And I have the tree, that tree done. Again, one day's work. .40 count vintage pearl barley, I believe. This is another one, even though it's probably not as small as I think it is in my head, that I consider a small that will be part of the rotation of smalls. As I finish one, I get another one. This one definitely isn't a small, but it's something I kind of consider a small, if that makes sense. This is the Do Re Mi series. I don't have all the, well, there we go. Is that all of them? Let's see. I'm missing, it's in here. So I'm missing picture for Do Re Mi Fa So La Ti Do. I am doing it in 2 lines. I have totally changed the colors, but I got my color suggestion from somebody else who posted on one of the, probably Stitch Mania or something like that. I'm using a 30 count pewter Murano. So the colors are more earthy, I guess. And I'm changing it, as this lady did that I saw, to the rainbow. So Roy G. Biv. So I say, even though this isn't a small, I'm considering it a small because each one of these sections is small. So I'm going to have, you know, I've started the when you know the notes to sing, right? So I will have a row of the charts here, a row here, and then the verse here and the verse down at the bottom, the rest of the verse at the bottom. And this is a tribute piece to my mother, because one of our favorite musicals, we loved musicals, we watched musicals together all the time, and one of our favorites was Sound of Music. So pretty. So, I gotta get back to it. Maybe once I'm done with the Grateful Heart one, the February one, I'll turn to this. So I really want to get this done. Of course, I really want to get all of them done. God. I know, we all sing the same song. All right, December. I had great plans for December, in December. They didn't happen. December by Cross-Eyed Cricket. No, the Cricket Collection. This was another Mania start. The fabric is pearl gray. I believe this is the same fabric. This is the same fabric as some other project that I don't remember. I have the M done. So, right there in the middle. A good chunk of the tree done. These little lights. I think some of these, this is Krynic up here. There's some Krynic here. I think there's some Krynic in the tree. Yeah. I meant to get it work on it just in December, and it didn't happen. But the fabric is a 32 count, I believe. And I'm using all the called for, except for the letters. The letters, they call for a thread gatherer silken colors, and I'm using Gassed Mountain Mist. So, and this is actually one of the projects that I left my DMC in. I went back through and made sure everything was noted in my X-Stitch app, but I don't think there was anything in this that I needed in another one, but if there is, I will pull it out and add it to my conglomeration that I have. And this is another one that I left the DMC in and made sure that everything was noted in my X-Stitch app. Now this is a present for my son, again, that I had hoped to get done on the trip across the country, and it didn't happen. This is Mushrooms Botanica by a Russian designer named Alice Oknius. Alice Oknius? You may have seen her on Instagram. She has a lot of these circle designs with a lot of bright, pretty florals. I own several of them. This one is for my son. Shrooms. I know. What can you do? And the fabric is a 28 count linen that I had in my stash, and I thought these bright colors looked great on this dark background. Isn't that fun? This is one that will really pop with the back stitching. It's also one with a lot of color changes. Even though it's not that big, it was a little more intense than I had anticipated. I had hoped to get this done for him by Christmas, but that didn't happen. So maybe by next Christmas, this Christmas, I also want to do a chakras, the 7 chakras, the energy points in the body for him. He is studying to become a massage therapist. He'll actually finish it. He might be finishing up end of January, maybe middle of February, something like that. But anyways, so he's learning the basic massage therapy, but he wants to go back and learn the specialties of the Reiki massage, as well as cranial sacral, and he mentioned another one I don't remember. And so I want to do, there's a lot of people that have the patterns of the 7 chakras on Etsy. So I want to get one of those and do one of those for him as well. Okay, we're getting there. Just a few more. You've seen it. You've loved it. Who knows when I'll finish it? Sally Spencer Sampler by Birds of a Feather. Super, super interesting stitch. I am doing mine on Confederate gray with pretty much none of the called for colors because that's how I roll. This one might need something white behind it. Let's see if this will work. Sally Spencer. Not very much progress. I like it. I love the fabric. I love Confederate gray. I think mine is a 32 count. No, 36 count. Oh, maybe a 40 count. I think it's a 40 count. I love, 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 love. I've just got to get working on it again. It'll wait for me though, right? I know a lot of other people have finished it. It's really pretty. It's so pretty. I've changed the colors to kind of make it less red, white, and blue. It gave me that impression the first time I looked at it. And while they're pretty, I didn't want that to be the theme of it. It's probably not what she meant it to be, but that's what I saw when I first looked at it, and I didn't want that. So, let's see. Another kit to go with my deer theme. This is Colorful Deer. This is a kit that I got off of Amazon when I first got back into stitching. I don't know how I came across this, but this is one of the things that spurred me on. This is a full coverage piece. What was I thinking? And it is on, I kept it on the Ada. Again, what was I thinking? I don't mind it. It's softened up quite a bit, and I think it's even a 14 count Ada. But yeah, it's going to be huge. It's certainly easy enough to stitch, although there is a lot of color changes. It's going to be gorgeous. I think he's so pretty. I mean, look at this down here. But got to get back to it. That will go on my deer wall. I have a lot of other deer patterns. I seem to have a thing for deer. Okay. Only a couple more. All right, this is another one of the Country Samplers Farmhouse series. This is the one I couldn't remember, the Scarlet House, American Farmhouse. And this, I think I started this as soon as I got it. Didn't make it very far necessarily, but I think this is just gorgeous. So this was a kit. Look at that fabric. Gosh, that's gorgeous. Hold on. Look how gorgeous that is. And it's darker than it appears in the picture, right? Come here. Look at that. Again, can't wait to work on this one again. Oh, to have unlimited hours in every day, to not have to sleep and eat, to not have to clean, to not have to, well, can't really say feed family because Mike does all the cooking. So I can't complain about that. as my pile here gets higher. All right, Blessed Be, another Brenda Gervais, another over 1 stitch. This was another Mania start. That is so pretty. So, so, so pretty. I believe I'm using the called for colors on this. So yeah, not very much. Not very much done on this. Come here, where's the... So yeah, just a little bit of the house. Don't even have the red door done. I have the frame for the door. So, actually, is that over 1? No, it's not. It's over 2. 40 count over 2. Everything called for with this one. What is the fabric? Oh, it's 36 count. Edinburgh Platinum. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Oh, Stitches Unlimited. I got that fabric at the store in Lancaster. Okay, the rest of what I have to show you are ancient WIPs. They are things that I worked on years and years and years and years ago and haven't since. This is the one, if you remember, this little ornament that, oh, that's not a good background. Here, let's use you. Come here, Liz. I'm putting you to work. Whenever I was going through my Christmas magazines last year to pick out what I wanted to do for Christmas in July, I found this stuck in the pages. This is, I believe it's a Teresa Wensler ornament. It's a little angel coming into shape there. So that I hope to get done as part of Christmas in July this year. Next, and look at this. How's this for storage? This is just an old like snack bag, sandwich bag. Remember these with a little fold over top? This is a little Just Nan. And this is stupid because this is almost done. This was a kit. It has all the beads and floss. Cute little piece. All crammed in this little bag here. See that? Almost done. Actually, I think it goes this way because there's a little filigree heart charm in the middle. I need to just get it done. I just need to keep it out and get it done. I probably won't even be able to iron the wrinkles out of that one. And then we have Woolly Winter by Shepherd's Bush, and of course, tiny, tiny, tiny little picture. Doesn't do it justice. Another one that was a kit. Look, $20 for the kit. It included everything. So again, and I believe they're silks. Yeah, they're silks. Again, almost done. Here, Luz, I need to lose you. I need to use you again. So yeah, almost done. I think I have probably I might have, I think the letters are there, so I have that much more to go. So not much, it's just a skinny little thing. Isn't that sweet? And of course, specialty stitches with silk. What's not to love? Looks like some of them are smushed. Pretty little piece. And again, gorgeous fabric, gorgeous fabric. So yeah, and who knows if I'll be able to, because I had it folded in half right along the stitching, if I'll ever be able to get the wrinkle out of that. All right, and last but not least, this is my silk gauze piece. And I think I've shown you this before, by Maureen Appleton, Heart's Content. So it's like a Persian rug type of, what is it called? English carpet. So florals, urn. And this has all the silks. This came as a kit as well. And that doesn't really work. Hold on. I don't know what count. Let's see, 40 count silk gauze. So this would be over 1. This would be petty point with the silk floss. I mean, this will be stunning when it's done. I hate that the gauze is mounted crooked in this, so I'll have to take it off and remount it in something. But considering how banged up this is, that's understandable. So, everything's empty. That must mean I'm done. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I loved it. I loved taking this little trip through all of my things. I love them. There isn't any here that I don't want to finish. So that's good. Kind of reconfirms that I know my taste. I don't know. It's a good thing. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you have another great week. Again, thank you so much for your kind comments. I had so many of you tell me that you appreciate my positive outlook, that you appreciate me sharing my joy and stressing to you to take the time to find your joy. It's not like I have anything big every day to share. It's not like I'm even that, bright and joy and cheerful of a person every day, all day. I'm very much an optimist. I very rarely get down, but I do get down. I get angry. I wouldn't say I get depressed, though. That just isn't in my makeup. But I think I have a calm and a peace in my life, knowing that things work out. There was something that happened this week that really confirmed that we were supposed to be here. And it's not just the polar vortex that's coming down in. And let me say about that, I feel for you people in Minnesota. To me, just a normal Minnesotan winter is harsh. This polar vortex is going to be nasty. Stay warm, everybody. Stay indoors if you can. Know that I'm thinking of you. And all my friends in Australia, you want to flip, don't you? I've heard so many people, don't send me any more sunshine. We have enough here. I will send you cool, frothy drinks with umbrellas and sunshine to my friends in the Northern Hemisphere. So yeah, find your joy, whatever it is. Today, my joy was going through all my projects with you. I hope you enjoyed it too. Now my joy is going to be, not putting them away. That's not going to bring me joy. But once they're all put away, sitting down and picking up my stitching. Guys, have a great week. I will be back definitely Friday with a Stitch With Me. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great evening. I will talk to you soon. Love you guys. Bye-bye.